Hi, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching and listening to another edition of Sipping Off the Cuff here at Tequila Aficionado Media. I'm Mike Morales in a kind of a balmy Southern California. That gentleman out there is.
Hi everyone, I'm Felipe. I'm in Essex, England, at 9:30 at night, so it's windy.
Yeah, it's a nighttime for Felipe, but I'm excited because we have been trying to get this kind of juice for months. And when I found out that this brand, it's called Sango. When I found out this brand was coming to the United States, I jumped at the chance because my understanding is that they have a UK office and they will have an American office as well. But this is a South African agave spirit. Um, they didn't send us any much information, so we're just gonna. I will say that it's a higher proof, which is good. I'm glad to see that. It's not coming in at just 80 proof. There are lots of nice bubbles on there. We just broke the seal off camera. And yep, right there. See the seal right there where it says
All right.
South Africa. 100% agave, Africa's agave spirit.
Yeah.
So generally speaking, the one I've been chasing is called Leonista, and they make theirs with agave Americana. Uh, Felipe did some footwork. What did they say on that? This is a blend?
It is a cross between the Americana and the Salmiana from two different provinces. The Agave, the Americana is from Karoo, and the Salmiana is from Cape Province. So there's a distance apart,
Yeah, the topography.
terrain.
Yeah, now Salmiana is another agave that's much more difficult to make an agave spirit. In fact, Salmiana, well, I think you can make mezcal out of Salmiana, but it's got a very distinctive flavor. Now, you and I had years ago, I think in 20, I forget when it was,
Mm.
2017, it might have been 2017. We had one called Selva Negra because they distill it in the Black
Mm.
Forest, and they use like a concentrate Salmiana that was organically grown. I don't think that they actually had the organic seal on it, but it was delicious. We loved it. I'm
It was
hoarding.
a stunning. It was. I've still got the bottle on the shelf.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
even the product, the packaging, everything about that juice
yeah.
was
It was beautiful.
beautiful.
So I'm kind of excited to see what this is all about. I have had regular Salmiana as a mezcal afterwards. But as usual, I'm going to pour mine in my Stasso Jarrito for mezcal because this is coming at higher. What is this? 43 proof? 42?
43%. I got
43%.
43. I have my.
The Glencairn, the handy dandy Glencairn. Lots of nice lingering bubbles, and it's got a very pleasant nose. It's actually not bad.
It's very clear, isn't it? Very clean.
Yes. So this is our first attempt. Oh my gosh, you froze. Why did you freeze? Hang on a second. Let me pause this. We're back. Yeah, we had a little internet. We had a we had a Mexican standoff. We were just like both staring, we were both staring at a blank screen. I don't know.
Yeah,
Anyway, we were touching base on Sango,
there you
and
go.
what kind of legs and tears are you getting on your glass? Because I want to know what the structure is because I'm looking at it right now. It's as you mentioned previous to our pausing. It's pristine. It's just clean, clean. There's no cloudiness, nothing on it.
There's not a lot. I've got the line like the watermark, as you could call it, but very little. Oh,
Yeah,
it's just
and I'm hoping it opens up a little bit more as we go along. The nose that I could smell on the when I popped the cork on the bottle was actually kind of pleasant.
mm,
No, there's plenty of good alcohol down in the center of the
Um,
glass.
it's very fresh smelling. It's very.
Yeah, it's kind of green, isn't it?
Mm.
There's even an underlying sweetness.
It's like almost like a peppered grass, a
Yeah,
peppering
yeah.
grass. Yeah.
And I am getting like hints of citrus, maybe like
Mm.
bits of lime. And it's again taking its sweet time to open up, and there's no telling, they've only been sitting on my living room floor for a couple of weeks, actually, um, which is unusual these days. Now the legs and tears are minimal. I mean, they're
There's not much at all, is there? It's
no, well now they're beginning to stream, but they're thin. They're thin legs and tears. And the reason we look at legs and tears, folks, is we're hoping that the body and the structure, the mouth feel has something of substance. And the Salmiana has a lot of substance to it. I'm not sure about Agave Americana. The last time I had any, that was from India, which we really haven't done an official tasting of. Eric and I are hoping we can get to that this year. Eric Zandona, my guy in Florida.
yeah, it's a very sweet. It's almost like I don't want to say concretey because it's not, but it's got that kind of. It's fresh, but it's a kind of a greyish fresh. If you
More like a ripeness, like a ripe. I'm getting fruit now. It's really opening up
mm.
against the fruit. There's a bit of fruitiness. It's
It's almost like a wet, like a ripeness.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, if
Yeah.
I'm ready to dive in, you want to let's see what the goods are like. Here we go.
Yeah. Mm.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
You'll excuse me, the stick bucket is my friend. All right, I always like to not make a determination on the first pass, but it wasn't bad. I it was there's pepperiness, the lip
Mm.
and gum numbness is there. There's a lot of pepper on the palate, on the tongue. Mostly for me,
Mm.
mostly at the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, it kind of hits the. For me, it hits the back and moves forward. But also, there's a really like a numbness on the tongue for an aftertaste.
Yeah,
But it's sweet. It's like a caramel, like a honeyed, very, very slight. It's like a fresh chili. When if you eat a fresh chili before the heat kicks in, you just get that real nice sweet
yeah,
flavour,
yeah.
and you go, "That's nice." And then the pepper comes in. It's like that, but without that aftertaste of a pepper. You get that when it hits your tongue, and then you get the sweetness.
Well, there are some blancos, tequilas that will have like a green pepper, like a bell pepper, that's got a green
Mm.
freshness to it, and then there's like the pepperiness in the back on the back end of the palate. I
Mm.
didn't swallow any of it, and I can still feel like there's a long finish on this thing. But I'm gonna go do my second pass. This is what, your third? That's your third pass, I think. But no, it's
Yeah,
okay. I'm not.
it's not as strong on that last one. It's a bit more. There's more citrus.
There's
I,
the first pass, even though I don't like to say I like to make that determination, but to me it felt more more fibrous, more like the Salmiana. You know, there was
Mm,
a denseness, a fibrousness
mm.
to it. Does it say on the website what their process is? Are they pit roasting these? Are they autoclave?
They they say no additives, um, and it's pit and oven roasted.
Aha!
Yeah.
So they're blending the process as well as the plants together. If this was a mezcal, we'd probably call it a medley or uh, uh, an ensemble,
Mm.
you know, where it's more than one plant. So if the one's oven roasted and the other one, did you say pit roasted?
Fire pit. Yeah.
Oh, no kidding. And that's where the fibrousness is coming from, and I think that's the Salmiana because it's a bigger. Well, then again, I'm not even sure. I mean, both of those plants are extremely fibrous.
Mm.
You know, it takes a lot to break them down, you know, for sugar. Um, Maybe not so much the Salmiana, but I know the Americana is rather gamey, and I'm not sure which one. I would have to taste them separately. Again, I wish I could get Leonista. I've been trying to get her for years because it's a woman who owns a brand, and it's very popular in South Africa. I don't know why she's not attempted to come to the United States now that other countries can bring in, they can import
Mm.
or export into the U.S. brands that come in as under the umbrella of Agave Spirits. It's opened it up for
Yeah.
every country.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, we had that one from New Zealand, didn't we? The Tequila, and the guy had
exactly.
no intention of
No,
even selling it. He's just like, I'm just making it for the hell of it. He had some land, and he
but it was very light. He
yeah.
was using blue agave,
It was not. I
and
remember that.
remember glacial underwater glacial rivers,
Yeah.
and it was like sea breeze. I mean, it was so dry. You know, it was like
It's fantastic. Yeah. He
yeah.
didn't want to do anything internationally with it, did he? He's no, I'm happy with the way it is.
No, he just you know it's just part of his repertoire in New Zealand. Um, and Australia, I've been trying to get that one again for months. That I think they call it what do they call it? He's got an unusual name for it. Something about an outlaw or something. I'll have to
Uh,
figure it out. I've been trying to get that one too, and they haven't come to the United States, although um, you know, there have been promises that they will, but they haven't yet.
mm.
Um, but anyway, what do you think? You want to go
Well,
through one more? I'm gonna swallow this one. I'm gonna try one more. I
I've got
like it. Go ahead.
as I've left it between, the aftertaste has almost gone. There's almost like a hint of chocolate coming through, like a cava. Something like this really nice kind of being drawn out on the
So
palate.
that could be caramelization from the oven
Mm.
roasted, yeah, oven baked.
Yeah.
Because see, pit roasted means that the flame is touching the plant. Baked means that there's no flame touching the
No.
plant, but it's in a brick oven. I would assume it's a brick oven and not a not an autoclave, which is like a big giant pressure cooker.
Yeah.
Um, because this, considering that these both of these methods are, uh, I don't know if I call them traditional, but maybe ancestral. Um, I'm not sure how they're shredding these. I would imagine they're using a mechanical shredder. So they would be considered, I think, in the mezcal world, it would be
Yeah.
considered more traditional because you can use a shredder without using a taona. The taona would be
Well,
ancestral and all that.
they are shredded. I did find that out. It is shredded,
Okay.
but in their words, it's roasted using artisanal artisanal methods. I
Artisanal,
mean,
yeah, uh, artisanal methods, or you know,
they all say that, don't they? It's not an exclusive thing anymore, is it? It's
well,
something that
I mean, they're I think they're headed in the right direction, man.
Mm,
This is not bad.
it's all
And it's
right.
not there's no harsh aftertaste. It's just a lot of pepper,
Mm,
you know?
yeah,
I'm gonna
it's
I'm
it's
gonna
it's quite nice.
yeah.
It's all right.
Mm, 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 mm. I wish it had more body. I wish it had more of a,
Mm.
you know,
It's pepper,
yeah,
and
it's almost all
and
strictly pepper.
yeah, it's not overpowering pepper. It's good pepper,
No, no, no.
but that's I know that we've said there's other parts to it, but that just seems to be excuse me, that just seems to be it. Pepper, and then a recovery from pepper. Even then, it was a really big, massive hit. I mean, if you like that thing, if you like that, then it's great for you.
Well, you know, this is gonna
It's
shine.
very
It'll
consistent.
shine through in a cocktail. There's plenty of character.
Mm,
There's just, it's just the legs and tears. If you're looking for like legs and tears and something beautiful to look at, they're very thin. Um, but that's okay. You know what? I I think you'll agree with me. This is a brand of promise nominee when you're looking at an African agave spirit for
I
the
mean, yeah, this is incredible for like. Well, I mean, apparently agave grows quite well in Africa. It grows wild,
yeah. Well,
so
I
they're
I
making
wrote
good use of it.
I wrote an article on the particular, the agave Americana that, that thing grows like a weed. It's really literally considered an invasive plant. So they get, my understanding is at the time, and maybe that's still the case, there are people who get government funding to just get rid of this stuff out of the Karoo,
Right.
because it's just invasive. And then you got these mega bats that are probably pollinating it, you know, because
Yeah.
you have them in Malaysia, you've got them in, that places like that where these plants grow completely bananas and they grow like weeds. And I think in some cases they use them for cattle feed, the mulch,
Mm,
they mulch them up. But I gotta tell you, man, for an ensemble, if this were a mezcal, this would be considered an ensemble with the two
mm,
plants. And I haven't had enough agave Americana to be able to pull that out, but I
mm.
know that there's enough fibrousness in there to make it very interesting, to give it some depth, and it's going to shine through in a cocktail. I think if you put this in a margarita, or if you
Yeah,
float it,
it's gonna come through in a mixer,
yeah,
easy,
oh yeah,
and it's really and I can't really think of a. It's a bit of a nondescript word, really, but it's really pleasant. Do you know? It's just yeah, it's nothing outrageously. It's not fantastic. I'm sorry, it's not wow, blow your brain out. Great. It's not crap. It's just really like yeah, that's when
I,
you have
I
a good meal, that's just an ordinary. Well, this is going to sound demeaning, like an everyday meal, but when you finish, you go, I enjoyed that.
yeah,
It's
and
wow.
honestly, it's a good sipper.
Yeah,
I know that they're marketing it as a shooter because if you think the UK is still in its infancy when it comes to mezcal, it's not anymore. I
not
think
anymore. No.
not anymore. Felipe will be one of our correspondents very shortly at one of the better mezcalerias, I think, in London. I'll find out because we're working on getting him to do a review. And if anybody's ever read any of our magazines, you know that I love his reviews. He's got a way with
Thank you.
words and his photos and all that. So I'm looking forward to that because this is a mezcaleria, so I know it's up your alley. But if this were a mezcal, this would be an ensemble, and it's quite well done. And now the finish. What did you
Mm.
think of the finish? The finish has got a nice warm fuzzy. This has got
It's
a
great. Yeah, it ticks all the boxes. It's just it's there, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's
It's,
not aggressive. I thought it would be much more aggressive. I didn't know what to
uh,
expect. I thought, man, this might be a little too gamey. It might be.
I mean,
off-putting
when you
because
have when you take the nose, you can smell the alcohol, but I don't get an alcohol kick from it. It's
yeah,
flavor. It's flavor.
it's all flavor. So I think, you know what, folks? When this comes into the United States, I would pick it up because this is going to give everybody on both sides of the agave spirit world, tequila and mezcal, a run for their money. Um, I I I like it. I like it. I
Yeah.
don't think there's anything wrong with it. Um, I think that that for those of us who are, there's a danger of tariffs and things like that, and rising agave prices. Rising distillate prices because of these supposed uh, tariffs that may or may not happen. This might be a good one to have on your back bar just in case.
Yeah.
Um, I'm looking forward to the reposado. I think is that what they're calling it, a reposado, or they're calling
Oh
it?
yeah, they're calling it a repo. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a
Well,
repo.
as far as I'm concerned, that's our take. Unless you want to say something else about this, do we have a price point and all? I mean, even in South African money, I don't know. I
I
don't
didn't.
know.
I didn't pick one. Sometimes I see like say South African or whatever, and I think I don't know what that is, and it's you know it might be cheap out there, but if you've got a strong pound or a strong dollar, but what's that in in when you're in the economy? It could be extortionate price. It could be really cheap. I don't. You don't know, do you?
I would think that they would come in a mid range, maybe 40, $50. They got to cover their cost as well. I mean, it is coming from South Africa. There's some thought
Hmm.
behind the brand as well. It is a blend. Uh, uh, you
It's
know,
it's 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 it has it's surprising. It surprised me that not that I was thinking that it was going to be anything bad or good or incredible. It's just you have that and go, yeah, that's a decent bit of juice. That's
yeah,
quite good. That yeah,
yeah.
I'd be happy
I
with
mean,
that.
you and I have had some really awful dogs, so to think that this is their first attempt, I'm impressed.
Yeah, well done.
So anyway,
Yeah,
that's our take on Sango. Now, if you've had this in the US, if you're watching us on YouTube, first of all, subscribe, hit the notification bell, give us a like, tell us what you're doing with it. I think this thing will stand up to stuff like a Paloma. Even if you were to do uh, what do they call it? A um, God, the name escapes me, but it's just tequila with ice and soda. A
mm,
ranch water. This would really stand up to a ranch water, and we call it a Karoo water.
yeah.
I mean, why not? Uh, I
So
think,
just try it and everything and see what works, isn't it? So
yeah, I think it's very versatile. There are notes there that there's depth, but there's also some fruitiness involved, some citrus, and it's got a very pleasant nose.
mm,
Uh, I'm I'm impressed.
yeah,
I think the guys at Sango, hey, congratulations.
yeah,
But
well done.
that's our take on Sango. I'm Mike Morales here in Southern California. That gentleman out there is.
Felipe in Essex, England.
You've been watching and listening to another special edition of Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our channels and networks. Please follow us on Instagram. Follow us here on YouTube. Follow Felipe. You can follow him at Felipe Herida, I believe,
Yeah.
on his Instagram. He's one of our big cigar guys as well. So
Um, well,
uh,
I'm not smoking that much recently.
yeah, well
It
you
mainly
will.
reminds me out walking the dog and the kids. So
You will
I'll
now.
get back on it.
Now here, okay, and one last thing. Well, no, let's save that for the Reposado review. Stick with us. We'll be right back. And whatever you do, folks, tomar sabiamente.
Sip wisely, my friends.